and kills Chandra. And Rogue goes, Remy, no. And I'm just like, girl, like, Remy, no? What you thought he was gonna do? Just take it from her and leave her there? Like, well, what? Like, Rogue, what are we doing? I don't understand, Rogue. I don't get it, but okay. What is up, heroes, and welcome to Small Time World. I am your girl, Small Time Hero, and let's talk about Season 2, Episode 8, The Dead Man's Hand of X-Men 97. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so we are back in Genosha on that terrible, terrible night, but we do see Rogue, and we see Gambit dancing and kissing and touching until Gambit turns gray and Rogue kind of implodes and wakes up at the X Corp Tower. And apparently the X-Men are playing poker. So first of all, like, this scene in Genosha, we know it's definitely like a dream sequence or something, because we know that one, Rogue can't touch Remy, and two, excuse me, Rogue can't touch Remy, and two, this never happened. Like, they shared a moment, but like, this moment that kind of like is being remembered terribly is between Magneto and Rogue. It I don't know if it's Rogue self-conscious doing it, because when she does implode, it's kind of like hinting towards something, but I don't know. It was just kind of like, is this what she dreams? And is it like, kind of her dreams telling her that something else is going on? I don't know. It was just kind of weird. But like, one thing that I do love about the X-Men is that it's just weird shit going on. Like, in Marvel, of course, there's witches and warlocks and sorcerers and sorcerer supremes. But like, with the X-Men, there's always just freaky shit going on, whether it's magic, whether it's Shi'ar tech, or whether it's alien shit. And very, very often it's alien shit, because X-Men are like intrinsically tied to space. So it's just always weird shit. So I'm just like, is this her mind, or is this like Remy, or Pac Remy? Remy Pac? Remy Pac? Remy Pac. Okay. So is this like Remy Pac, like, projecting these like dreams into her head? I don't know. I just had a lot of questions about it. But yeah, they are playing poker. And I think it's really interesting, because we've seen the X-Men play basketball. We've seen the X-Men kind of like enjoy life. And I think that's something that we don't get to see like kind of anymore from the MCU. Just to compare the two, I know one is animation, one is live action, but like, we love seeing the Avengers go get shawarma. We love seeing the Avengers kind of hanging out, trying to pick up Thor's hammer. We love those scenes. So it's always kind of like, we would love to see them get along and be friends. So we don't actually get to see the X-Men enjoy, well, we do get to see the X-Men enjoy themselves, but we don't really get to see like that from the Avengers anymore. And I think that's, like, something to point out. But yeah, so the X-Men are playing poker, which is kind of interesting, because we got like I guess you're playing on, like, you got to trust the person, because like, there's at least 3 people here who can read minds. So you got to like know powers, like everybody put their powers up. So Charles basically asked Rogue if she's okay, and he's like, my child, are you okay? And it's just always weird when he does that, because like, these are grown people, and yeah, they're younger than you, but like, I always like when people refer to like 30-year-olds as son and kid and shit, it's just like, yo, stop, they're 30. But anyway, Charles asks if she's okay, and then the tower shuts down and dispatches an EMP field, which I like this idea. Like, but I'm wondering if this came from Magneto's EMP. Like, if the idea came from that. Like, they're like, because anything coming near it can be shut down by electromagnetic pulse field. Electromagnetic pulse field. Yeah. So anything can be shut down from it, but I think it's really interesting. I thought it was really cool. So we actually find out that it is X-Force and that they need help. X-Force brings Apocalypse Husk back to Genosha, And Jubilee gives Rogue the playing card that they found with Apocalypse's body. Um, Cable, Scott, and Jean have not actually seen each other since technically when Cable sent them back into time when he was younger. But of course, we know they saw each other last season. You know, when everything went down last season before they disappeared. So they haven't seen him, but they have seen him, and so it's just kind of weird. Psylocke says that Apocalypse overestimated his ability to control a horseman who's been resurrected from the dead. And Rogue says Rogue doesn't want to help X-Force because she feels like they're going to hurt Remy. And Jubilee says that they aren't actually trying to hurt Remy, but trying to save him or undo the evil that has been done to him. And, you know, honestly, Kurt has a really good point where he's just like, no, I think Sunspot has a really good point where he's just like, is there even a soul to save? Like, there's a conversation of if he's already dead and he's been resurrected, is it not just a husk? Like, why would, like, can Apocalypse resurrect souls? Is the question. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, X-Men is so hooky and hokey and stuff. Like, it's just so much stuff going on. So like, if you poke, you gotta have a reason to poke. So it's just one of those things. Like, would there, like, I would have the same question. I would have the same exact question. Would there be a body? Like, would there be a soul there? So X-Force wants Rogue to sneak in and restore Gambit's soul from Apocalypse, like she did for Archangel. And, you know, the question, of course, like I said, is that is he going to have a soul? And like the other part of it is that Archangel, when Rogue was able to like pull Archangel out of Apocalypse's horseman trance or whatever hold, he wasn't dead. Like, Warren wasn't dead. Warren was kidnapped and then turned into a horseman. So like the question of it is that like, can Gambit be like can his soul be saved? Can Rogue go in there and take his soul out? As everyone is kind of having those same questions, Charles is like, we won't know until, you know, we get Gambit, so we might as well just go ahead and, you know, try and find Gambit. And Charles agrees, but he's like, no killing. And, you know, I feel like that's understandable, but we also, I don't remember X-Force killing that many people other than a Horseman of Apocalypse, which I will say I don't feel like it's an issue. Like, I don't think it's an issue. I feel like that's not an issue, but whatever. So Rogue and Kurt talk, and they talk about the possibilities that Gambit might actually be alive. And Kurt has said that they've witnessed a lot of miracles, and he's kind of hinting towards what I said in the beginning, that it just be a bunch of like crazy shit going on. Like, not only is it X-gene shit going on, but there's magic in this world. There's radioactive spiders, or there's genetically modified spiders, or there's, you know, toxic waste that's been, you know, splashed into a nigga eye, so now he has heightened senses. It's just so much that goes on in the Marvel universe, on top of having an X gene. So like, when Kurt says that he's seen they've witnessed a lot of miracles, I'm like, yeah, because it's a lot of shit that go on in this goddamn world. Kurt tells Rogue that she shouldn't be sad, but happy that Remy is back. And I'm kind of like, why? Like, I don't know. It's almost one of those things where I'm just kind of like, Nightcrawler, like, why? Why should she be happy that Remy is back in this way? Like, I can understand if they had went back in time and got Remy, or if they had like, time displaced Remy, or if they had like alternate universe Remy or something like that. But resurrected by Apocalypse Remy is what she should be excited about. I don't think so, Kurt. I just don't. I'm sorry. The rest of the X-Men go down to Cerebra, which is Cerebro, just updated for the X Corp Tower. Charles finds Gambit in New Orleans, but Gambit actually could sense Charles trying to find him, which, yeah, like it, I don't know, it's a lot going on. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have not read this. Like there's parts of, X-Men 97 where I'm like, "Oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that." I don't know nothing about this. I am here with y'all. We are one and the same. Okay, you feel me? I see you. You see me. Okay. Um. uh. So Remy is Apoca Remy Paca Remy Pac Remy Pac. Remy Pac can sense Charles trying to sense him in Cerebra, and he grabs Charles' face, and then it implodes in like energy, and I'm just like, oh shit. And it reminds me of what like Rogue woke up to in the beginning of the episode, like that same energy that Rogue woke up to in the beginning of the episode. Charles takes off the helmet kind of blasts off Charles, and he says that he thinks that what they're dealing with is much darker than they thought. What the fuck you think? Because when they brought the husk and they had the goddamn playing card, I was like, oh shit, he done jumped into Remy's body like this. So what was you thinking? Because that's about as dark as my mind get. I'm just saying. So Rogue is like, just tell us where he's going. Like, she is over this shit. She like, let me go get my dude, because this shit is going left. They trying to kill him. I know y'all trying to kill him. And you just called him dark, so you trying to kill him. So she like, where he at? So then we flash to Gambit, and Gambit has gathered both the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild by invitation, including his ex, Belladonna. Gambit turns the Thieves and the Assassin's Guild into horsemen. And like, it's with cars, which I don't know. I understand. I don't know. Like, okay, this is gonna get some real nerdy. Like, if you know the answer, please answer me, because I'm really actually kind of interested how this works. So if Remy is dead, right, his body has at least been in the ground for, let's say, 5 months. Let's say Apocalypse got Remy 5 months ago. His body should have been decomposed. So there should not be any real DNA in order to fabricate his powers. Cause like, I mean, I guess of course his powers are tied directly to his DNA. So of course, if you have the body, then I guess you have the powers. But like, his body should have been I don't know. So much. Let's jump back in. All right, so Gambit turns the Thieves and the Assassins Guild into horsemen, and the X-Men head towards New Orleans in the X-Force jet. So when I was watching this, I was like, I've never really seen the X-Men in this before, but this is the X-Force jet, which we have seen in the opening titles between X-Force and X-Factor, and we've seen, them flying in before, but I'd never actually talked about it. But this is like a militant jet that, like, of course, helps X-Force in all of their tactical missions. Jean and Cyclops go to check on Cable, who doesn't really want to talk, but Cyclops kind of pushes the issue. Remy and his horsemen attack the X-Force jet. And Rogue is kind of confused why Belladonna is there. She like, Belladonna and Robert, what the fuck where did y'all come from? And the X-Men basically fight back against the Horsemen. And while they are fighting back against the Horsemen, the jet is also like, it lost wings and all kind of shit. Like, Gambit is doing damage. And we actually see Jean trying to keep the jet from crashing. But also she also has Sunspot, tagging behind her because he was knocked out too. Rogue actually goes looking for Remy Pac, and she finds him. She can actually touch him, and his skin, of course, is wrong. And she's like, what is going on? And then that's when Gambit knocks her out. And then Nightcrawler comes in, and he's like trying to help Rogue. But he comes in to help, but he is quickly turned into a horseman. Like, he literally dodges the he dodges the playing card, and then when he bamps back, the playing card hits him. Like it's crazy. He's knocked out and taken with Rogue and Gambit. The Horsemen retreat, and the X-Force jet loses both of its wings, and all of the telekinetics have to join together to keep the jet from crashing. And it's really cool because like you see Psylocke, who we know that like her all of her power has to be focused in order for her to use her psionic blade, or for her to use her blade. But so you see like the kind of butterfly image on the front of the plane, but it's literally not enough. And then we see Jean, whose powers are kind of bluish, or like a holographic blue, kind of like a transparent blue, and she has made like jet streams on the back of it, but like the middle is still just unbalanced. And like Cyclops is like, hey son, like, you gonna help, you gonna join in. And so Cable uses his freaking powers, and like, first of all, it's very rare that Cable uses his powers, not in that way. Like, he uses other forms of his powers, but not in that way. So it was a really cool scene, and I love seeing it. I love seeing all of them work together. The news does report what's actually going on, and they say they don't know if it's a terrorist attack, or them trying to prevent a terrorist attack. But Storm is like, you know what, fuck this, it don't matter what they try and do to us, our family is in trouble, so we're going. And so the rest of the X-Men go to New Orleans to basically help. Rogue wakes up, and Kirk comes into her room and invites her to dinner as the special guest. And she's like, what in the world has he done to you? And I'm just like, yeah, what, like, but of course, but Kurt is way more personable with Rogue. He loves his sister, and the way he talks to her then, it's not like he doesn't love her, but it is one of those things where he's just kind of like, come, like, I don't have no, like, I'm not here right now, so just come on. Gambit has set up like a dinner, and Gambit calls Cable a merc. Gambit sets up like this dinner where he's like trying to woo Rogue. Goodness. And he calls Gambit a merc and says that Rogue is, trying to help the merc kill him. And it's so funny because it's like, okay, so this is like Apocalypse, but also like it's Remy Pock. It's Remy Pock. And Rogue basically says they're not trying to kill Remy, they are trying to save Remy from Apocalypse. And Gambit tells Rogue about Apocalypse's story, about Apocalypse's love story with Kendra, the external. So here's the thing. We first meet Kendra, the external, in the episode, I can't think of the name of the episode, but it is the episode where we introduce Remy's backstory and Belladonna and all of that. It's very early on in the very first X-Men series. Kendra is the person who gives them their powers, the assassin powers and the thieves power, all of that shit, and she is part of that. But she also, apparently, we do see her early on in the season where she's with Rama Tut. After Rama Tut leaves, because we do see Rama Tut split and get the fuck out of there, we don't know what actually happened to Kendra in all of the, like, Apocalypse trying to blow a big ass hole in the fucking city and shit. But we find out that she came to Apocalypse and they fell in love some kind of way. And I will say this is where the show kind of breaks down for me, because what I see is her come to him share his power, and then she get the fuck on. But from what Remy Pock says, is more like, they fell in love and then he shared his powers. But like, I don't know if they did that because they are kind of like, having pacing issues in the show, which I will say, I will say there are some pacing issues, especially with like developing storylines and things like that. But I don't know if that's why they did this like this. But I don't know. It was kind of weird because it doesn't seem like Kendra was in love with Apocalypse, and I just don't think that Apocalypse would have gone for fake love. I don't know, but either way, she gets the relic, and it is the relic that's in her chest, and it makes her an external. So Gambit is like, hey, I want that relic. And he's like, he tells Rogue that he wants the relic for her so that she can live with him and they can be together forever. And Rogue seemingly agrees. And here's where like I'm side eyeing our girl. Y'all know I love Rogue. But like she seems to be okay with this. Like I don't know if she's going along with what what X Force asked her to do, and that's why she's just kind of going along with it, or if she's actually like just because too in love with Remy and taken by grief. And then the other part of it is that the last night that they saw each other, she did not choose him. So maybe she's feeling a piece of that, but she seems to kind of be okay with all of this. So in the bayou, Rogue wears a veil and she kind of floats down to Remy as Remy performs the ritual to summon Kendra. Kendra wakes and comes to them, and Gambit calls for her relic, and Kendra refuses. So Gambit conjures like energy scythe. The X-Men show up and we get a cool ass fight between the Horsemen and the X-Men. But the X-Men kind of make, do with the Horsemen pretty quickly, especially with Storm. And then Nightcrawler gets busy. So last episode, Nightcrawler was, he was fighting for the X-Men. He was trying to like keep his brother from being murdered and all of this shit. So we saw him with the swords and everything, and I love that. I loved it. But in this episode, Nightcrawler is kind of unhinged and not necessarily himself. So he goes like full on like Nightcrawler on their ass, and he was whooping ass. I mean, I hated to see it, but he even took my girl out. Like, they ain't stand a fucking chance. And like, I ain't gonna lie, while I was watching this, I was just like, now why we don't get to see this a lot? Like, cause if he can do it, if he can dispatch the X-Men like this, and also of course in X2 we do see Nightcrawler kind of like giving the business, but he can do this. Why he don't let this rock like all the time? Like, we need to let this rock all the time, cause he went ham. Gambit jams the relic into Rogue's heart and she passes out. And Charles calls to Remy to end the madness. And then he knocks him out, and they go to like the mindscape to like battle. So Remy actually gives Charles a run for his money as Remy Pock, and even on the mindscape, which is actually kind of funny. But of course, Charles gains the upper hand, and he calls for Gambit inside Apocalypse's hold. And the X-Men continue to battle Nightcrawler when Jubilee blinds him, and Cyclops like uses concussive. Cyclops uses a concussive blast to knock him out, and Cable says that Gambit is exposed, so it's time to take him out. And everybody is like, "What?" Like, and then Cyclops is like, "Hey, no!" It's just so many no's. But anyway, like, Cyclops is hurt. He is hurt, and Jean is like, "Don't do this. We're family." But Cable wants to kill Gambit. But Professor X is pulling Gambit out. Soul out, or his consciousness out of Apocalypse. And Sunspot and Jubilee attack Cable, causing him to drop his gun. Which I feel like it was funny the way he dropped his gun. I'm going to put a clip in here because it just kind of skated across the water. It just kind of skates across the water. And then Xavier kind of loses his hold on Gambit. And then we see a yellow hand. And it reaches into Apocalypse and pulls Gambit out. Like, there is no struggle. There is no like, oh, he still got me. It reaches into Apocalypse and pulls Gambit out. And as it's pulling Gambit out of Apocalypse, we see Apocalypse consciousness get sucked into Gambit's. Remy actually changes color. So we're to believe that Remy is kind of the forthcoming consciousness at this point because of the color. And so the X-Men retreat, and Cable throws his other gun in frustration. Like, it was a lot of gun throwing. Okay. Hank says that Gambit's mind is doing some really strange things, which I could understand that, because right now we see Gambit in charge, but Apocalypse is in the backseat, and before Gambit was in the backseat, Apocalypse was in the front seat. So we kind of see what Hank is actually talking about is them kind of fighting for supremacy, I would think. Charles says that Apocalypse won't stay contained in Remy too much longer, so they need to find a different, something else to do. And Charles says that if they don't move quickly, Apocalypse will take him over completely and there won't be another Remy. Or there won't be a Remy anymore, even though he should be dead. Cable loads a box truck when Archangel and Psylocke walk up to him saying that his honeypot didn't work, which says that he was planning to use Rogue to, get Remy and kill Gambit and all of that kind of shit. He was using Rogue. Which she does say she didn't trust him in the beginning and she shouldn't have. We see a flash of light shine in. Like, it's like a beam of light. And then X Factor, minus Polaris, break in with Dr. Cooper holding a tarot card. And I think it's the Tower card. And I guess we get an X-Force X Factor team up in the finale. Like, the finale is about to be fucking crazy. Because what the hell is going on? Because, like, we got Remy back, but then we got to deal with Remy Pac. And then we got X Factor and X-Force teaming up to basically take down the X-Men. Because she was very candid in who she felt like needed to go down. And also, I just want to remind everyone that this bitch caused Genosha. She and Bastion together caused Genosha. Like, she knew that they were going to join there and everything was going to go the way. Like, this bitch has no moral ground. Because on top of the fact that she caused Genosha with Bastion, she also let Magneto go and caused the whole situation where Magneto basically turned off the fucking planet with an EMP. So, like, at this point, how does this bitch still how does Dr. Cooper still have a fucking job? Like, I don't understand. Like, they have to not know. Like, all of her shit has to be super nefarious, even past, like, but it's still government. It's still government. So, I don't know. And it's really fucking me up that this bitch is working both sides of the playing field. Now, here's the other part. Last season, in season 1, me and my friends, we were talking about, we thought Dr. Cooper was Mystique. Now, I feel like it's even harder to draw that conclusion now because of the way she hates mutants and because of all the shit she set up. But honestly, with the way she turned heel on everybody, like, this bitch has no loyalty to anyone. Like, she's basically, like, saying fuck the government and going to X-Force, going to X-Force, which is a known, like, brutal kind of group. So, and also mutants. And I know that she's going to X-Force to have X-Force and X-Factor hunt the X-Men. But I don't think they ready. Because, like, the other part of it is like, we got Psylocke, who can focus her whole totality of her powers into a blade. Whoop-de-fucking-do. We got Archangel, he got some real sharp blades. Feather blades. Okay. But we talking about Omega level mutants. And, I mean, we got Havoc against Cyclops. He is the lesser Summers brother. And I'm not even a Cyclops fan here. But Havoc is the lesser Summers brother. And then Multiple Man. Okay. Like, Wolf's Bane. Okay. We got Beast. Even though he don't do shit. Well, listen, guys. I am about to end this review before it goes way longer than it needs to. But honestly, like, I am really excited for this finale. I will be live streaming the finale. I haven't put out anything, but I will be live streaming it. And, of course, I will be cutting it up and putting it on social media. So, if you guys see it, make sure you come over to my YouTube channel and subscribe and like and share and add and tell your friends about me. And tell your friends about me. Okay, I'm done, guys. But, yeah, bye, heroes. Thank you for watching.